So, hey guys, Chauzu here. As always, for every treasure map, I'm going to be posting my accessible teams, but I must warn you, this treasure map is on another level. It's pretty insane. Like, I've already made some ambush teams. I'll make some more with the batch later, but as for the normal other battles, like every battle is pretty annoying. They even made a mini boss that is basically super hard. Like a actual boss that will give more points and such as well. Anyway, my accessible teams, and as always with accessible, I'm talking units that have been out for a long time, mostly not limited stuff, and a heavy focus on free-to-play, but I'm not against older legends that most people should have by now. And in the end, these are just additional options to consider. For the shopper boss, I mostly follow the quest guide. I had all these units left after making the other team, so I just thought, yeah, sure, why not? It's pretty decent. So I guess this team is not another options, but it's important as well that if you want to try and copy my teams, you can use all of them. So there just wasn't much left to build this team. It's a bit weird too, because they want you to use, if we look at the mechanics, they want you to use Capone as captain because the subs get binded, so sure. But Capone only boosts driven and shooter, so he doesn't even boost the Marco that is recommended, which is a bit weird, not going to lie. But yeah, Capone will change all orbs to matching since he removes paralysis with special. Bart and Cavendish will handle the damage threshold, and the combination of Capone and Barto Cavendish will handle everything. Basically, we only have the chain left after that, and honestly, we're not even going to use Marker here. It's better to just use a big chain lock like Big Mom, that is a big booster and is currently free in Pyro Rumble. And I added Nami and Shinobu in case you want to add a color affinity. Moving on, Ulti. And yeah, finally it's time to use Frankie in Treasure Map. I gave my Frankie a key. Finally, it's been happening for a while. The main reason I waited so long is because my Frankie isn't maxed. But as long as he's level 4, you still get the buffed captain, which is the important one thing here. It's not required either to have the buffed captain, but let's say you have a very low investment Frankie and no key either. You can still use him, but I recommend you use a good Frank captain then to compensate. An example would be Luffy and Yamato. If you don't have them, could be a decent option to pair with Frankie. But yeah, the main reason Frankie is good here is because when you use Frankie's captain action, you can ignore the damage limiter mechanic. And this is the first treasure map fight ever to have the damage limiter mechanic, which is wild. So you can only do half of the enemy's HP every turn for 2 turns, but by using Frankie we can ignore that. Frankie has the Usopp support, which will change all orbs to matching. Since we get unfavorable orbs, or he changes them to recovery to be more specific. Special reverse, there's not a lot of option for that this treasure map, so I went with the old rare recruit Zoro. He should definitely be ready for final stage. I'm a bit unsure now if this team makes recovery orbs matching, and since I'm unsure, I'll just add this Luffy. I put Oriaxon before to make the matching, but then I ended up using a lot of non-free spirit and slashers. But we do have this Luffy, not that one. The other one. There we go. You can just use this Luffy support and you get the recovery matching guaranteed. Sasora handles special reverse, also gives an orb boost with his special. Unless you use a key, it's unrealistic to use Frankie's special for attack boost, so I just put bugger support on Hawkins, and Hawkins will handle the resilience in this content with end of turn damage. So only thing left are Shipbind and Death Up. Summer Robin plus Hyogoro handles both of those, and Hyogoro also gives you a color affinity buff. So it should be pretty decent. I will definitely be using Frankie myself for this fight, but with other subs. Yak now, pretty weird fight. It says strength, but it boosts strength X quick and recommends strength X quick, so I wonder if there's some hidden color change, but it's not listed, so I'm assuming we can use quick focus teams. But yeah, this is a weird mechanic where if you remove bind, they apply bind again. I presume this is only once. That will make sense since Roger is recommended, and if we follow the guide, we'll use Roger special 3 times total to remove all bind. But my plan is to skip Roger instead. We remove bind with Kanjuro support on Kiku. Kiku will give an ore boost. We have attack down, which Koala will handle. Just use Koala special stage 2 and you will block the attack down. There's basically no attack down removers. If you have Hina, Treasure Map Legend, I definitely recommend using her since she handles the attack down and is also a quick unit, so does lots of damage. As for the rest of the mechanics, we have Decrease Chain, which Shanks Crew handles. There's Burn, which we can just ignore, to be honest. And then on the feet, we have a set HP recovery and we get bind applied. But yeah, basically, as for the Shanks Crew captains, both start on quick. Frank Captain Shanks Crew swap that to Sai on final battle and use their special. And then on the revive, use your own Shanks Crew, don't swap. You get the duo form, you get an attack and ore boost from Cavendish, and they should definitely kill. If you lack damage, try and use a good Shanks Crew friend that can give you multiple turns of color affinity. That will definitely give you enough damage. And the other units are just filler, since the rest handles basically everything. Now we have the Marco fight, which is very weird. This team is made with Queen Frank Captain in mind. And yeah, this is a very annoying one, but I think my team is pretty good. One thing to keep in mind is that we're using this Shirahoshi. It doesn't have to be Shirahoshi, it can be this Shirahoshi, it can be Legend Shirahoshi, it can be Legend... yeah, the one that gives 1 orbs. I'm just empty in my head right now. I think you know what I mean, the Dex Legend. But yeah, anything that gives plenty of orbs you can change. Then turn 1, you will use Doffy Special to wave clear. You also get super driven by doing that. That way you don't remove any of the rainbow orbs. Then if we follow the quest guide, stage 2, we get 5 turns, attack down and the spear. And Sasaki handles all of that. After you use his special twice, he removes 5 turns of each and you get color affinity. Then you use Queen's Vanish. This will let you bypass the other mechanics, and I presume stage 2 is built to not scale, that you always just use Vanish with Queen and 1-hit KO easily. But if it doesn't and it scales in damage, we have more ways of adding damage. Mainly, you can use Buggy stage 2 as well to get an ore boost and an attack boost from the Robin support, but that's just in case. Then on the final stage, you will still have a full board of Rainbow Orbs due to the support here on Sasaki, the Castar support. So basically, we can't get interrupted by doing this, since there's an interrupt if you change orbs, where top right is blown away. Pretty dumb mechanic, but by doing this, we also have Special Bind, which Doflamingo removes with his Captain ability. Paralysis we can ignore, Queen won't get it to paralysis, and it doesn't matter if Doflamingo is parried. Damage threshold and death up is handled by Queen special, and resilience is also handled by Queen Captain ability, or no, not Captain ability, but the special. You will get end of turn damage from Queen. But yeah, basically this team, final stage, use Kaido for attack boost or boost, then use Doflamingo for a chain boost and base attack boost, and Queen for color affinity. I just realized we don't need this support because obviously Queen does color affinity. Yeah, now it's fixed. Actually a really good team. I'm pretty sure this should work. Final team, I try to make it as accessible as possible. I can't guarantee that this will work long, but as far as I can see, this should cover everything. Sanji, friend captain, of course. If we look at the quest guide, I should mention that Luffy needs to be full level limit broken, and it needs to be keyed as well. Have a gold key, not a gold key, but silver key given to him for his max captain ability. And I know that if you're an old player, you might not be able to get this, but like if you're the kind of person who wants to use accessible teams long term, this is a good investment. This is a good unit to use wanted posters on. And if you have any leftover tickets from Pirate King Adventures, then use it to buy dupes. With that said, Luffy needs to be fully level limit broken, and Zoro as well. Zoro is easier since you can get all copies for free. With that said, let's take a look. Stage 2, there's some poison shenanigans. Zoro removes that with the Sanji support. There's bind top row and bottom row, 6 turns. Luffy support, Ace removes 3 turns. Uta removes the remaining 3 turns with her special. There's also special reverse, which Uta also handles. 5 turns damage threshold, which Zoro handles. Zoro and Luffy specials, you also use this stage to give you attack boost and war boost this stage and final stage. So we're going with Psy focus damage, but yeah, it's just the best options for accessible team, I felt like. Then for final stage, slots are changed to block, and there's chain shenanigans and def up. Sanji handles all of that with his super class and mainly the special. The spear, Luffy resists a few turns of that with captain. 3 turns it should be. Yep. And the remaining turns is handled by Whitebeard support on Marco. Mr. Tree support is not required, I think, but there is this death damage, which is hard to get around. 150k death damage. One potential way to get around this is to use Sanji special a bit early to get some extra healing, since Sanji can overheal, so overheal can counter that. But the spear is pretty annoying, so I can't promise this works without Mr. Tree support. But it should be pretty decent if it does, because final stage you can use Garp, moving up to Captain, you can use his super type as well, use Luffy's super type first to get matching orbs, and then Garp will hit super effectively and can easily kill the boss. And on the revive, we try and leave Marco and Sanji orbs alone. And then for the revive, use Marco, get an orb boost at least for the revive, 30% HP. And we pray that Marco and Sanji can do enough damage, since Queen should be quick anyway. So as I said, can't guarantee this works super well long term. Can't guarantee it works at all without Mr. Tree support. But this is the most accessible I could make with a lot of boosters. But yeah, that's it for this video. I'll be posting my own teams later as well. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.